What's up, City Students? Welcome and thanks for tuning in. You are here for the very last segment of our series, Who is Jesus? We talked about Jesus as God. We talked about Jesus as Messiah. We talked about Jesus as Creator. And now we're going to talk about Jesus as friend. So stick with me. I want to take you guys back about 10 years ago in my life and share a story with you guys of just kind of an experience that I had where I actually got to take the scripture of Jesus as a friend and experience Jesus as a friend and kind of be the initiation of like my relationship with him and realizing like, yo, Jesus is for real and he is really, really friendly. And so it sounds kind of weird, but just track with me for a minute. So there was a time in college, it's about my second year, and I was the dude that made a bunch of promises to God. Like, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing this. I'm going to do things right. And that failed miserably, right? Going into the semester, things just slowly, it was like one thing at a time, just boom, 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 boom. And next thing you know, I'm in this pit. And I'm like, how in the world did I get here? What is going on? I'm not supposed to be in this like situation. I'm stressed out. I'm overwhelmed. I'm making like bad decisions and things are just crumbling and falling apart. Relationships are falling apart and it's just wild. And I remember one night in the apartment by myself, I had two roommates and they're both gone. And I'm just like struggling to even get peace in my mind, peace in my heart to go to sleep. There's just no such thing as peace in my world right now. And I just begin to toss and turn and like get frustrated at the fact that my mind was so clouded. And so, sounds really weird, but I threw the blankets off and I ran to the bathroom like an infant, right? I'm just like trying to escape whatever was like there in my mind, and threw my blankets off, ran to the bathroom, and I just started to cry. And I was just like, Jesus, like, I need you so bad. Like, I know I've made all these promises and I have not fulfilled not even half of one, right? And I just need you right now, Jesus. And it was weird because it was an interesting time in my life. Somebody who I was close to was a believer in Scientology. And even though like I had previous experiences with God, I had previous like knowledge of who God was, like my mind was so clouded with all kinds of beliefs that I've been learning in college and from friends that I wasn't even rooted. And so my friend believed in Scientology, and like my heart and my mind was starting to doubt that God was who he was. And I was starting to embrace these new teachings and these new ideas. But at this moment, I was like so desperate. I was like, Jesus, like, I cannot find peace and I need you right now. And I just was straight up with God. And I was just like, I know that I haven't been doing the things I'm supposed to be doing. And right now I'm in a crisis of belief. And I just asked him to show up and just to reveal himself to me. And that's exactly what happened that moment in my apartment, on my bathroom floor while I'm in tears, like a little baby, is what it is. But in that moment, man, I just remember feeling like an embrace from Jesus that was so like tangible in my spirit and brought so much peace and so much comfort in my spirit that at that moment, I knew everything's about to be different. Everything is going to be different because what I've been looking for and the peace that has been absent, literally Jesus just embraced me as if like I was talking to a close friend face to face, and they just saw my need for a hug and they're just like, hey bro, bring it in, dog, bring it in, and just like embraced me. And that's what I felt that moment. And so with this last segment of our series, Jesus is a Friend, I want you guys to know, man, that situation, that story is not just for Matt, but that is who Jesus is for all of us. So whether you're a freshman in high school or a senior in high school about to graduate and move on, I know that there's mass pressure in life in general, no matter how old you are. But in high school, you're trying to navigate so much, and it feels like there's so much pressure, so much like weight on your shoulders from friends, from parents, and what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to look like. But there is peace in Jesus because he is a friend who will listen and a friend who will embrace you no matter what. Okay, so I want to share two scriptures with you guys real quick that you can read at home, that you can embrace, that you can use to remember that Jesus literally is like the best friend that you can ever have. So the first one is in John chapter 15. And this is Jesus talking. And starting at verse 12, this is what Jesus says. He says, "My command is this, that you would love each other as I have loved you." Okay? "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know what his master's business is. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything that I learned from my Father, I have made known to you." Right? And so we talked about all the different aspects of Jesus. And sometimes those like aspects of Jesus as creator and Jesus as God, they seem so distant. But now we're looking at Jesus as a friend. And he walked with his disciples. He washed his disciples' feet. He had real conversation with them. And now he's telling them no greater love does anyone have than this, than to lay down his life for his friends. And he was giving them like a foreshadow of what was going to happen, that he was going to lay down his life to die for all of us. Not just those disciples there, but when he's talking about friends, he's including all of us, right? Whether you're 5 years old or 500 years old, right? He's including all of us in that. And it's a message to us that, man, like what Jesus did, he did it out of love, and he did it out of a place where, like, as your closest friend knows everything about you, as your closest friend wants to support you in everything, Jesus did it from a heart that says, I know that you guys are going to go through stuff. I have conquered death. I have conquered evil. I have conquered pain. And I'm going to go to the cross as a friend and basically be the atonement for you. And so that's heavy stuff to embrace. But I want to share one other scripture that's also encouraging. So this one's coming from Hebrews. And it's Hebrews chapter 7. And it's verse 25. And so Hebrews 7:25 says, "Therefore he is able to save completely those who come to God through him, because he always lives to intercede for them." Right? So that last phrase where it says he always lives to intercede for them. So we have Jesus who was on earth doing great things, walking with people, being a friend, being an example of who God is in the flesh for us. Now he's in heaven, and the scriptures teach us that even while he's in heaven, he's constantly interceding on behalf of those who call on him. So just like that moment that I had in my bathroom where I called on him and I was like, yo, my life is in shambles. Don't know what's going on. And he was there to hear, and he was there to intercede and say, hey, God, like, let's slide in real quick to this bathroom because this boy crying right now and he needs some comfort, right? And it doesn't matter like where you are on the spectrum of your relationship with God, whether you don't have a relationship with Jesus or you have a relationship with Jesus and you walk with him forever, these things are constant and these things are for everyone. Like Jesus is not like, yeah, that one, but heck no, not that one, right? So feel Jesus's call to friendship and the fact that he wants to walk side by side us, and he wants to be that comforter. He wants to be that friend that we can talk to, instead of us like bottling everything up and just be like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to man up, or I'm going to just, whatever you want to call it, and just walk through this and da-da-da-da, right? Just know that when we call on Jesus, man, we are calling on somebody who hears and who is a friend from beginning to end. I'm going to leave you guys with this last quote. This lady in my church where I used to grow up used to say this quote, and it literally makes a lot of sense. But when I was younger, I used to be like, gosh, she says it all the time. She said, if I never had a problem, I would never know that God could solve them. Right? And so when we go through life and we have problems, we have an opportunity to know that God can solve them. But if we never call on God, if we never reach out to him, we'll never know that he's the problem solver that he is. So that's the end of the series, guys. Be encouraged, man. Stay connected with your small group. Stay connected with your leaders, man. I want to actually share one last thing I forgot. So I was reading something today, and during this pandemic, there has been an increase in like social emotional situations, man, like depression, anxiety, all that stuff has skyrocketed. So not only does this message like hit home for anybody who's been going through that, but it's just more of a reason to make sure you're staying connected to someone. Because if things aren't at peace at home, if things aren't at peace in your mind and your heart, talk to Jesus, obviously, but let us know, because we care about you guys. Reach out to us, your small group leaders, and we'll walk with you guys, because that's what we're here for. Yeah. So you're probably wondering, though, what's the piano here for? I am going to play the piano. So let me put this down real quick. But I want to share a song with you guys, man, because this song talks about God as a friend, God as a father, and it kind of just ties into our series as we close it out. So, no like screen recording this and like saving it for years later to like frame me or something, or like blackmail, whatever it's called. But here we go. But I do encourage you guys to listen to the words. No other God can be called a father. No other God can be called a friend. No other God can be called Redeemer. No other God's coming back again. No other God can be called a father. No other God can be called a friend. No other God can be called Redeemer. No other God's coming back again. And how we love your name, Jesus, you're the beautiful one. We love your name. How we love your name, Jesus, you're the beautiful one. We love your name. How we love your name, Jesus, you're the beautiful one. We love your name. How we love you, King of kings. How we love you, Lord of lords. How we love you, King of kings. How we love you, Lord of lords. How we love you, King of kings. How we love you, Lord of lords. We love the fragrance of your holy name. You came and you brought us into the reign of grace. We love the fragrance of your holy name. You came and you brought us into the reign of grace. And we sing glory,